Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you guys how to start your own sweet potato slips. As many of you know, my family and I homestead on half an acre, and one of our main goals is to be as self-sufficient as possible. So up until this year, we've actually been purchasing sweet potato slips simply because it was easier, and we assumed that this process was really hard. So we would be buying sweet potato slips from a local greenhouse, and sometimes they would sell out or we wouldn't get the varieties that we wanted. And that can be a little bit frustrating if you don't get your order in.
So we tried to make our own.
Well, we're going to try growing our own this year, exactly. And it's actually quite easy to do. I've watched a few videos and it's a very, very simple process. So all you need is water, some sweet potatoes, and either toothpicks or we're using barbecue skewers.
You might need about this much water.
Yes, exactly. I have my assistant here helping me today. So first, if you haven't grown sweet potatoes before, you need to make sure you're growing a variety that is hardy to your zone. So you may or may not be able to use store-bought sweet potatoes for this. I say that depending on where you grow. If your sweet potatoes are imported from the States or from a warmer area, that particular variety of sweet potatoes may be hardy to zone, say 7 or 8. Whereas my family lives in a zone 5. So we had to make sure that we were growing sweet potatoes that would do well in our area. Beauregard is one that we really like, and I think Cavendish is another variety. Thank you. So make sure that you're starting your slips from sweet potatoes that were either grown locally or grown by you.
It might be a good idea to clean them first.
Absolutely. If you've grown regular potatoes before, I'm sure you're familiar with the process where you cut your seed potato, plant it in the ground, and then you continue to mound soil or dirt on top of them as the plant grows. Sweet potatoes are not like that at all. In fact, you're going to need a much larger growing space for them because instead of mounding dirt up and them growing vertically, sweet potatoes vine out and they're going to produce these big, beautiful green vines that kind of spread everywhere. So make sure you've got a raised bed with sufficient loamy soil. So that being said, and sweet potatoes also really, really like warm temperatures and warm climate. So resist the urge to put them in the soil too soon. They will not survive a frost and they don't like cold soil. So we usually don't plant our slips. We're in Ontario, southern Ontario, in an area called Kawartha Lakes. And we don't usually plant our sweet potato slips until about June or so. So as you can see, we're using our sweet potatoes from last year, and we picked out ones that have already started growing slips on their own. So right here, this is fantastic actually, because I can show you what a sweet potato slip looks like. They're going to start growing these funky little, basically little vines or, what's the word I'm looking for? Like stems off of the sweet potato. Once they get long enough, so these ones are approaching the length where they're getting long enough. You want them to be at least 5 or 6 inches, so they still have a bit to go. You're actually going to gently snap the slip off and then put it in water to root. But the first step is, like my son said, make sure your sweet potatoes are washed. And then you want to either use toothpicks or barbecue skewers. In this case, we use barbecue skewers because we don't have enough toothpicks, right?
You can always have another assistant with you if you want.
That's true. And all you need to do, and maybe you can do this for me, my lovely assistant, is place the sweet potato in some good quality water. So this is time where we don't want to be using water that's high in chlorine or high in fluoride. So try to source either spring water or bottled water, or just filter your tap water at home. In probably a week or so, these are going to start growing roots. And once they start growing roots, then the sweet potato slips will form. And I'll be back a little later to do a second part of this video for you guys to show you the process. But like I said, once they get to be about 5 or 6 inches or so, you're going to very gently snap off the slip and place it in water so it can start to grow roots as well. And you can store them and keep them this way until you're ready to plant them. And like I said, warm soil resists the urge to get them into the ground too soon because they won't survive, or they'll just go dormant. That's often what happens. You may not have a hard frost or even a kind of a mild frost, But if your soil is cold, it's just going to cause the sweet potato slips to go dormant until they're nice and cozy and warm. And you had something to add?
This is Sappho. She will be helping us make
the sweet potato slips?
in the next video.
Fantastic, thank you. So all we're going to do is place the rest of our sweet potatoes into the water and stick them in a fairly sunny spot by a south-facing window if you have them, making sure that you're regularly checking on the water, adding more or changing it out if you need to. Once we get these a little further along, I'll film a second video or a second part to this one if you're watching on YouTube, and you can see the next step in the process. If you have questions, please comment below. Feel free to follow me too for more of these videos. Seeing as we are stuck at home for the next little while, I will take you on our daily adventures a bit more often. But until then, I will talk to you guys later.
Welcome again in a sweet potato slip experiment.
That's right, welcome back. As promised, I'm filming the second half to this video because it's been just over 2 weeks. We started our sweet potato slips on the new moon, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as you can see, we already have some pretty amazing slips growing here. So these ones had already, the sweet potatoes we picked had already started looking like this when we put them in the water. And I was telling you how it was going to form a root structure. Check that baby out, right? So the sweet potatoes themselves have formed a nice, happy root structure. And these are sweet potato slips. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, sweet potatoes don't grow the same way regular potatoes do. Regular potatoes, you cut your seed potato. We usually let them cure for about 24 hours. You put them in the ground, and then you either mound up soil or straw, whatever you like to use. Sweet potatoes vine out. And so what you're actually going to be planting, and I'll get my husband to zoom in a little bit more, are these right here. So the next stage to our experiment, as my son calls it, is we're actually going to very gently break off the sweet potato slip from the sweet potato, just like that. And then we're going to put them in water. And again, it's really, really important that the kind of water you're using is not high in fluoride or chlorine. And then these sweet potato slips will actually start to grow roots themselves. And that's what we're looking for. So that's the next stage. So all of these ones, the ones that are about 5 to 6 inches in length, I will very carefully break off. And my understanding is that the sweet potatoes are actually going to continue to keep producing slips, which is great. And apparently my son needs to introduce you to someone.
This is Sapphire. She's going to be helping us like promised in the last video.
Now you can see there is some differences between the sweet potatoes. Like these ones have just started producing roots and the slips are pretty small on these ones, so we have to wait a little while longer. Please be careful, okay? So that's really your next stage, is I'm going to be pulling the sweet potato slips off, getting them to root and water, and they're basically going to stay that way until we're ready to plant our slips, which in southern Ontario, we're kind of a zone 5A, borderline zone 4. We're not going to get them into the ground likely until the first week of June. You really want warm soil. It's really, really important that when you plant them that you've got really nice warm soil and that the risk of frost is gone, because these guys will not survive a frost. So this is how easy it is to start your own sweet potato slips. And again, for those who didn't see the first video, just make sure if you're using sweet potatoes from the grocery store that they're hardy to your zone. Okay, so if they've been imported from places much warmer than where you are, they're likely going to need a longer growing season than you will be able to offer them. So in those cases, I mean, start getting creative. Think of things like row covers to extend the season, to protect them from frost and that kind of stuff. So if you have questions, please post them below. If you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to comment below, share this video, and subscribe. If you're watching this on IGTV, there's a reason why I filmed it landscape, is because it's also going to be on YouTube. So I know it's a little cumbersome that way, but again, feel free to post questions below, and good luck in your sweet potato growing adventures. You have one last thing to say?
Hold on. Sapphire might be able to help this one grow a bit more with her poison.
Her poison? I'm not really sure you should be using a poison dragon to help with your sweet potatoes, but he's quite convinced.
Hey, look!
Thank
The
you.
leaves are growing a bit more.
All right. that is it for us. Like I said, good luck on your sweet potato growing adventures. If you've got questions, post them below, and definitely get some food in the ground this year. It's no better time than right now to learn how to grow your own food. Take care and be well, guys.
Goodbye.